Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you every single phone in my collection at the time of recording this video, which, if you're wondering, today is Monday the 30th of December 2019. As you can see over here, that's a date and time right now. And here, these are every single phone in my collection as of 30th of December 2019. So let's count. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. 48 phones. I mean, that's how much I counted. Wow, that's a lot of phones. So I'm just gonna briefly go over these phones. This one is a Nokia X2 X2-00. This was the phone that made me start collecting phones and gave me an interest in collecting them. Over here is a Samsung SGHP910. This was the first ever phone in the videos I uploaded the same day as Jaden Animations and the Odd Ones Out. You know, those videos that I've uploaded. This was the phone that started off that series, so I'll always remember it for that. Over here is a Nokia 301. This was actually a dream phone of mine back in, what was it, late 2014, and this was the replacement phone after getting the Micromax X242, which I returned back to the shop because, I mean, the Nokia 301 is a way better phone. Over here is a Nokia 105. This is a 2017 model. As you can see, I forgot to show you the backs of those two phones, so I'll just show you them. Over here is a Nokia 105. This is a 2019 model. This is the newest phone in my collection as of right now. Not just when I got it, but when it was released as well. And when it was made, because if you have a look at the firmware, it was made on the 22nd of August 2019. This particular firmware revision of this Nokia 105 2019. Over here is a Nokia 106 2018. I mainly got this phone because I wanted to play some of the Gameloft games, the ones that are free trials. So, for example, Airstrike and Skygift and Ninja Up and Danger Dash. You know, games like that. Over here is my daily driver. I already showed you this earlier, but this is an iPhone 5S. I'm sure if I was to sell all of these phones and replace this, then I could have a way better, daily driver. But decided to save money on my daily driver and instead spent my money on all these phones, although some of the phones were free, and get this and have this. Well. Over here is a Nokia C200. It's actually the dual SIM variant of the Nokia C01-01. The difference between these two phones is that this one is a single SIM. You can see over here it doesn't have a second SIM slot, and this one is a dual SIM. You can see SIM 2 over there. So that's the difference between these two phones. Over here is a Vodafone Smart 4 Power. This was the first ever phone in my collection that I got since I started watching Family Guy. and it's also a broken phone. It doesn't work. The touch screen is a bit off. Over here is a Nokia Asha 210. As you can see, this is the dual SIM variation. As you can see, it has a SIM 2 slot. Over here, these are three of the same phones. These are all Alcatel 10.16s. As you can sort of see over here, these are all three of the same phones. And these two I got for free, and this one I bought myself personally. So I'll just put them back. Over here is a Huawei U8510. This is my sister's first ever phone, actually. So it's always going to be nostalgic for that reason alone. Over here is quite a very popular phone. This is a Nokia 6300, as you can see over here. Over here is LG B2100, and it's actually the first ever phone that was technically mine, because all of the phones that came before it were not mine, technically speaking. Yeah, this was the first ever phone in my collection. It doesn't work anymore, but yeah, very nostalgic. Over here is a Sony Ericsson K810i. This is the only phone in my collection to have, you know, a camera lens, and a xenon flash. This is the only phone in my collection to have both of these. So yeah, the camera on this is actually really good for what it is. Over here is a Samsung Galaxy J1 Ace. It was actually my mum's daily driver phone for quite a while, to be honest. It was her daily driver for quite a long time, for 3 years actually. And I don't even know how she managed to survive with this phone for 3 years, but yeah, it's got this case on it. I'm not going to bother taking it off. Over here is a Nokia 5000. As you can sort of see over here, it's actually quite thin for what it is. Although there are definitely thinner phones out there. This is quite thin for, you know, my standards. Let's see, this is a HTC Wildfire S. The charging port isn't really working, so yeah, I'm not going to bother taking the case off it. Over here is a Samsung E1080i. This phone was actually dead on arrival. It never worked at all the moment I got it. And you can see over here, a bit of the phone is burnt. You can see a bit of the burnt plastic, which is a bit of a disappointment, but what can I do about it? This is an iPhone 4S. The crazy thing about this phone was that I'd actually gotten this phone on the 7th of June 2016, which was actually the same day that Jaden Animations posted a video about the troubles in Arizona, and it was a collaboration with The Odd Ones Out. I'd actually gotten this phone the same day that YouTube video came out. Yeah, it's significant because I do really like shipping The Odd Ones Out and Jaden Animations. So over here is a HTC Desire 300. This is my sister's second ever phone. And by the way, the iPhone 5S was my sister's third. Then she decided to give it to me. But yeah, this is my sister's second ever phone. I was a daily driver. It doesn't work anymore. Well, it's not really surprising because these phones were not so good. Over here is a Sony Ericsson J220i. I'd actually gotten this phone. When I got this phone, the song Empty by Jaden Animations was actually stuck in my head. So I'll always think of that song every time I look at this phone. It's sort of a relic, you know. Over here is a... Oh yeah, I forgot to show you the back of that phone. So that's what the back of it looks like. Over here is a Sony Ericsson G502. I'd actually gotten this phone for free alongside two other phones, namely the Nokia 216 and what was it, the Sony Ericsson T715. I'll get to both of those later. But yeah, the crazy thing about this phone, it's a feature phone, but as you can see over here, that's the 3 logo. 3 in the UK don't support feature phones, generally speaking, but this is a feature phone that's locked to 3, which is a bit ironic. Well, of course it will be, because it is a 3G phone, but yeah, not 2G this. And over here is a Nokia C1-01. This phone is very, very nostalgic. I remember this phone from really, really early in my childhood. Unfortunately, it doesn't work anymore, but whatever. At least I have that Nokia C200, which is basically the same phone. It is working, that one, by the way. It's basically the same phone, but the only difference is that the C200 is dual SIM. Over here is a Sony Ericsson W810i. This is actually quite a popular phone, and out of every single Sony Ericsson phone to date, well, as of 2019 anyway, this is one of those Sony Ericsson models where there's still quite a huge demand for this phone, and it's pretty crazy. Just ignore that orange thing over there. Even though it is branded to orange, the shop I got it from, they had already unlocked it, so they had already unlocked it, but it still has the orange branding in the firmware and stuff. Over here is a Sony Ericsson K700, and I gotta say, the joystick on this phone is very unresponsive. It's really bad. I don't like the joystick on this phone. I really don't. However, taking off the back cover of this phone is actually quite simple, and this phone actually supports the batteries that are used in the Nokia 7250i. So, I mean, that's the only way I'm going to be able to charge that phone, is by putting that battery into this Sony Ericsson K700i and charging it. So yeah, that's an upside, but the downside of this phone, the joystick, is awful. It might not seem like it in this video, but once you do have your hands on, have a go through around a Sony Ericsson K700 in person, you'll notice how bad the joystick is. Another phone, this Sony Ericsson K810i, this also has a joystick, but the joystick on this one is way better than the joystick on the K700. Over here is a Nokia 6303, as you can see over here. This one is actually branded to orange, and well, it doesn't work anymore. Yeah, I prefer not to say much about this phone. Over here is a, if I can reach it, Nokia 216. This is another phone that I got for free, and well, it's quite interesting, you know. I really don't like Series 30 Plus. I wish Nokia or H&D Global revive Series 40 that were used in, you know, phones like these. Phones like these had Series 40, which were way better. But yeah, still, the flash on this, it's very useful as a torch, this phone, because it's very easy to access, I gotta say. Over here is a Samsung E1120. This was my uncle's phone, and well, it does still work, although it drains the battery very quickly. Even if I have the phone turned off and it power down completely, it still drains the battery. I have to plug the battery into this Samsung P910 and charge it up, and then put the battery into this Samsung E1120 just to use it after leaving it on idle for a really long time, which is really annoying. I don't have this issue on like any other phone, well, any other phone that's still working anyway. So yeah, it's still really interesting. This one is branded to orange, but it is still unlocked, and it's not really in good condition. It's very, very poor condition, I'd say. This is the Mitsubishi Triumph Astral. This is the oldest phone in my collection, actually. The oldest phone in my collection, and it has this huge antenna. It was released in 1999, I believe, which makes it the oldest. And the batteries integrated into the back cover, which was quite common for phones of the time. It doesn't work anymore. It was dead on arrival. But hey, this one has swappable faceplates, so if you're into stuff like that, then you can go right ahead and do that. Although it is quite a pain putting it back on. There we go. This was a phone I got for free when one of my friends came over to my house, and he was like, "Oh, I have no use for it anymore. You just keep it." And that's what he was like, so that's what I did. Over here is a Samsung Galaxy S3. It was working for a couple months, but now it's not working anymore. So, and I don't really have much to say about this phone, so I'm just gonna put it back. Over here is an Alto 10.10, a phone which I never expected to have in my collection, but I did. Okay, so anyway, the screen is a bit small on this, I'm gonna say. Hang on, let me just sort out my camera. There we go. Yeah, it's still quite an interesting phone, especially when comparing it to the Alto 10.16. Over here is a Nokia 7250i. This was my mum's first ever phone, and I believe this phone was first purchased back in, I think, January 2004, which was so quite a long time ago, I gotta say. But yeah, over here is a Nokia 130. Now, one thing I want to say, I actually paid £5 for this, and I got this from the same person who gave me the Nokia 216, the Sony Ericsson T715, and the I think it was a Sony Ericsson G502 for free. He gave me 3 of those phones for free, but I had to pay for this one, which was £5. But hey, at least it came with a memory card. Anyway, over here is a Sony Ericsson J13, which is actually unlocked and not branded to any carrier, surprisingly. It was my mum's second ever phone, and it's still quite nostalgic to look back on, you know. Over here is a Nokia 7100 Supernova. You've already seen the YouTube videos I've made about this phone. I don't really have any more YouTube videos to make about this phone anymore, so that's why you don't really see it anymore. And the same thing goes with the Sony Ericsson W810. I don't really have any more YouTube videos to make about this phone either, which is why you don't see it in my YouTube videos anymore. But just in case you're wondering, I do still have this phone. It's not gone, I still have it. However, I had to scavenge the battery out of this to place it in another phone, which had the battery broken, so I don't use it anymore. But yeah, over here is a Nokia C200. This was my mum's third ever phone, and well, I didn't really use it at all until my mum replaced it, and it doesn't work anymore. So not gonna bother with that. This is a Nokia X3. This was a phone that was dead on arrival, similar to the Samsung E1080. This is the phone that I think of every time I listen to, what was it, the Sky Universal Dream, which is part of the Sky EPG Music 2005. So, yeah. Don't really have much else to say about this. And here is two of the same phone. These are Sony Ericsson W395s. Both of them are unlocked. This one is branded to Tesco Mobile, and this one's branded to T-Mobile. Only this one works. This one actually has a broken flex cable. Yeah, you can see. You can see over here. Here is a Samsung D600, and well, every time I look at this phone, I always think of the Kool-Aid man who goes like, "Oh yeah," in Family Guy. So I always think of this phone for that. I don't know why though. It's a bit strange, but yeah. This also has an integrated battery integrated into the back cover, similar to the Mitsubishi Triumph Astral, which is a bit interesting, I gotta say. I'm gonna put that back. Over here is a Sony Ericsson T2A Ti, and this actually has, I don't know, it just has this weird smell, which is very unpleasant. I mean, you can't like really smell it in this video, but in person, when you smell it, it's pretty disgusting. Yeah. Yeah, actually has a pretty similar, the back is pretty similar to the iPhone 2G, with a black thing on the bottom, which is, you know, pretty interesting, seeing the similarities between this and the iPhone 2G. This is a Sony Ericsson T715. This was another phone that was dead on arrival. Well, what actually happened to this phone, according to the person who gave it to me, was that this phone was actually dropped in water, so that's why it's not working anymore. The battery actually has some, if I take this back cover off, this is a battery that came with it. And as you can see, it's red on the battery indicator, indicating that it has water damage. And the battery, not just the phone, but the battery also doesn't work. I tested it in some other phones that use BST33 batteries, and it also doesn't work. This was disappointing that this phone doesn't work, because I was like really excited to use this phone, and to see it not work, it's pretty sad. And this one is locked to 3 as well, similar to the Sony Ericsson G502. So yeah, anyway, and I guess that's that. That's every single phone in my collection. I just showcased all of them. That's a lot of phones. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like get any more next year. I'm not sure about that, but well, just having a look at all these phones, like 48 or something phones in person, like looking at it on video might not seem like all that impressive, but looking at all these in person, especially if you're not like used to it, it's crazy. It really is crazy. I gotta say. Some of this includes some phones in my collection that are working and some that aren't. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for watching this video. I'll see you all later. I'll just show you the entire collection with a different camera angle so you can see. You can see over here. Here's a close-up shot. I'll put my camera down. Okay. Set my camera back up. So yeah, anyway, thank you all for watching this relatively long video, I gotta say. I'll see you all later. Bye!